You know what?
What?
I love this tier so much.
Yeah?
Screw it. Better get off the pot. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's my favorite of all the tiers.
Who is this guy?
It is my favorite of all the tiers.
What did you do with Ahmed Fareed, you potty mouth? Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? I was shocked. Hopefully, you were as shocked as I was. It's episode 621. It's Chris Simms and the Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here. We'll see if we can contain this guy.
No.
I mean, in one offseason, he said and he has said shit at both times. One he said intentionally, the other just slipped out.
It did.
But damn, I'm wearing off on you. Did you go home? Did you tell your kids and your wife that you swear?
I kept it to myself.
You kept it to yourself?
I waited for them to hear. My parents listen to the pod. They haven't mentioned anything to me yet.
They haven't mentioned it yet?
How
Okay.
disappointed they are in their son.
All right.
They haven't said anything about
we
that.
taught you better, son.
But it was freeing. I'm a new man right now.
Yeah?
And I
Okay.
will never swear again on this podcast.
Bull crap.
Until next year
Yeah.
when that tier comes up again.
So only for that tier.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting you there. We're slowly working you into a different human being altogether. Look at that,
No energy drinks anymore.
That's what so there's some positives about our relationship and there's some negatives about our relationship, just like any good relationship. Marriage, work, whatever.
It is funny, though. I do feel like the TV world is passing me by a little bit. Because you guys have swore on PFT now for a while.
Right.
You went to Peacock, and
Right.
you kept it clean for a good year.
Yeah.
And then this past, I watch it now, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it's
I was
like
you
off
need
the-
like an
off
R
the
rating.
rails.
My 6-year-old daughter, I
Right.
guess she's 8 now. I got to get her out of the room.
Yeah.
But it is trending in your direction here. There
It
are
does
more
seem that
swears
way.
everywhere now than there used to be.
I mean, with everything that's available with the phone and kids looking at what they're looking at, and man, my kid looking at the phone, looking at a swear word right now would be the least of my concerns. I'd be like, oh, you're just looking at someone saying, the F word?
Yeah.
That's not that bad for what I was, really having a nightmare about what you might have been watching, right? So,
Yes.
yeah, I think the world has changed a little bit that way. And hey, for me, it is part of how I talk, and especially when I get amped up and a little energy and all of that, those kind of words emphasize my feelings a little bit better than the normal words.
I think they do them very well.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Pete went down a rabbit hole
I know.
of where this word came from.
And I'm disappointed here because I always, there's always the fornicate under consent of king, right? All right, that's where they thought. I know that's not true. Pete's going, that's also not true. I know that's not true.
Yeah.
But I thought my shit, SHIT thing, was real. But go ahead and read this because apparently
you
it's
thought
not.
it was store high in transit,
Right.
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 It's a something that came out around 1999.
Right.
And Pete notes here in the rundown, or roughly when Chris learned how to read. But man, so he's
He's
crushing you
killing
here.
me, man.
It was a viral
Damn.
message board post and email spread. The story that old ships carrying manure
Right.
had to store them high,
Right.
because if the manure got wet, it would release methane and the ships would explode. So you had to store high in transit.
That's how I had it always explained. That it was
SHIT.
even the trains, right, where they had like the ventilation towards the top of the box cars. So that's what I thought.
Apparently,
But
it's not true.
Apparently.
It came from the Old English word skitan,
Right.
which means to separate, a.k.a. separation from the body. It is similar to how excrement comes from the Latin
Wow,
word
thank you.
excretus.
I like my reasoning
or to
better.
discharge.
Yeah.
So if you want to picture exactly how this came about,
Man.
then there it is. Now
My
you can tell your
story
friends.
is better. It sounds actually more legit than that right there. And do you know how many people I've misled on that story? Right? I mean, it's like I probably have told 100 people where that word came from, including my kids recently. I literally
Like
was
how
talking to this.
recently?
Like recently was in the car talking about this with my son. And I don't even know how it came up. And I was like, old, wise dad. And as I get older here, I'm becoming more and more like Chevy Chase or something like that, where it's like, you're not wise, you're stupid.
Yeah.
But you talk and it sounds pretty good. I got into it and I was explaining him to that, the whole thing. And, just.
I like the other one better. Let's
I
just
did
go
too.
with that one because
Okay.
this one is just gross,
I know.
right?
And,
It's just
I don't
separation
totally,
from the body.
Pete's pretty
Who
good
cares?
with stuff like this, so I usually trust him. He is not always right.
He's not always right. He's not always right. We're going to pretend that Pete's lying here.
Pete's shit, okay?
Which leads me to, let's take a look at what we've done in this quarterback countdown so far.
Okay.
40. We're making our trek up to 1 here, which reminds me, and I thought of this after we get done with the pod, we did not actually say of the 3 quarterbacks in the crap or get off the pot category, who you think was going to crap.
Oh,
Which is a good thing.
Right.
Who's going to poop?
Yeah.
Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones. Who do you feel most confident about?
If you made me guess there,
Of who's going to poop?
I'm going to go Deshaun Watson, I guess.
Oh.
I am. Just because, again, I'm still a believer in his talents in a lot of ways. And, of course, their team is good, right? But yeah, I have some trepidation about all these guys, really. Daniel Jones, I wouldn't put too far behind. Again, like I told you the other day, Daniel Jones, when I go back and watch him, there's just a lot I like.
Yeah.
And it's hard to differentiate of, like, what's him and what's the team, right? And I do think he has the possibility, as we saw 2 years ago, where if they can support him a little bit, he can exceed expectations there. But, yeah, I think Watson still be the guy I'd go with there in that category.
And Justin Fields may not even get on
He
the
might
pot.
not get on the field. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, as much as I'm rooting for him and I like him, and, man, there's some things about him where I'm like, ooh, should I put him in front of Daniel Jones and people like that, right? I got back to that same thing, right? Just the pocket passing, if they get behind, stuff like that with Justin Fields, the game kind of has to shake out a certain way, and that's where I, couldn't put him in front of Watson or Jones because of that.
All those quarterbacks, interesting discussions.
Yeah.
You can listen to them on our previous podcast on Tuesday. We also had Derek Carr, Russell Wilson in the glory days. Have they passed you by? And then you had the chosen one in Caleb Williams that we talked about, your highest-ranked rookie ever.
That's right. When anybody you hear or talk to right now, he's struggling right now in training camp there. Yeah,
we didn't bring that up, but I think all that stuff is all that stuff is so, like, I get it. We have to talk about something, and it is information, right? It's like, oh, he's struggling. That's interesting. I get that. But you just can't read too much.
Kind of playing a high-flying, freewheeling offense a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Where, listen, you're learning the new offense. There's more rules. Of course, the players are better. You're being, and where this is also, too, in his case, he's being thrusted into the number ones right away. All these other guys are getting a little like, hey, take some twos, take some reps with the threes, take some reps with the twos. And then a few weeks go by, and they go, hey, let's give him a few plays with the ones. They just threw him in there. And the other thing I'll say about them a little bit is, defensive head coach, very talented defense, as we know, we've discussed. They scare you and your Lions, right? But I don't think they're a script for success and practice type of football team, right? So they just play it out. And if it's ugly, it's ugly. And, I don't worry about it, and you don't take too much into account this time of the year.
Honestly, I would feel the opposite way. If I were a Bears fan, which I'm most certainly not, I would feel really good about this. Because what better time to have your rookie phenom quarterback who's had all this praise heaped on him?
Now.
Totally.
Exactly.
This is the best time.
Put him through him now. He's going to get done with OTAs and minicamp, take a deep breath, right? He'll have film to watch. I wouldn't be shocked even if he secretly meets with the coaches a little bit and all that. And he'll come back to training camp a different human. Where you're going to be like, oh, my gosh, right? Just the understanding of the offense, his comfort level, everything there, what's expected. I think that will this will do him good is what we're saying.
So for a little perspective here, and we're doing this in real time, Pete is working furiously back there, trying to direct Kristen around, and Gabby, who's back there, Morgan, Mackenzie. So let's take a look back at Derrick Henry's first ever drills in his rookie camp.
That's hilarious.
So this is from many years ago.
Damn, stepped on the bag. Okay,
no.
Do it again. Do it again.
Coming backwards. Okay, there we go. All right,
slow.
good.
Oh, we're going sideways. Ugly jump. Bad jumps. Right. He's all over the place.
This guy will be nothing.
Hey, this is part of the process. It's all new, and even though these guys are, superhuman in college and all that, they're still human, and they go through the nerves, being asked to do different things, right? Trying to impress your coach, trying to impress the other guys on the team to say, like, hey, I'm worthy of this. Look, I am the number one pick. All of that, these are all things that these guys are battling with still in their young part of their career.
So now we move on to the next 5. We're in the top 20 now. We'll go 19 through 15, and all these quarterbacks are in the same tier.
Right.
You've determined that these quarterbacks are all similarly lumped together with one common theme. And so the name of this tier is not a name at all. It's with emojis. So if you're a watcher on YouTube or Peacock, you have an advantage right now. It is,
Yeah.
So it's thumbs up.
Yeah.
Solid, good, like them, but there's something missing. There's a caveat somewhere.
Yeah, there is. It's a group of guys that I all like. As I said to you before the pod, I'd be like, hey, I'd be happy if these guys were my starters, right? But I would all with them go, there's this one area we can get better at, or there's this little, untapped potential, or I got to be careful calling these type of plays, right? I think that's the thing here. So it's starting quarterback, of course, kind of solidified starting quarterback type of guys, but a thing about their game that I go, ooh, he's definitely going to get better there, or he's just not that good at it right now, and he's got to work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear all those things about these 5 quarterbacks. Let's get right into it. Number 19 in the Chris Simms top 40 quarterback list for 2024 is
Geno Smith, the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, here's my headline with Geno Smith. One, I mean, when you watch Geno Smith, right, the physical talent can be jaw-dropping. It can be like, wow, right? And one of the first things I wrote, I mean, man, for a career backup and for some guy that's just supposed to hold over the team for a few years, damn do they ask him to do a lot of high-level stuff and carry the football team. I mean, I've never seen a bridge quarterback say, hey, make another 30-yard throw. Hey, throw another 20-yard laser. Hey, make another 50-yard bomb to DK Metcalf. We can't run. We don't protect that well, but carry us, right? So to me, it's kind of funny that he's viewed as that guy, and I would go, guys that we view that are more established or franchise quarterbacks, right? I'd go, they're not even asked to do as much as Geno Smith is. All right, that would be the first thing. And Geno's arm is in. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's Josh Allen or Mahomes or the top guys in the sport, right? But it is right underneath that group of guys. That is for sure. Like when you turn on the film and watch Geno Smith throw a football, you go, man, that ball travels through the air in a hurry, right? He can throw the ball with awkward feet. He's got a flexible arm, so he can really let it go at times, right? And then, of course, his movement is better than people realize as well. So all of that is really good. And they ask him, like I said, to make a lot of big-time throws and plays. But there's the but aspect.
So here's the missing piece.
Go ahead. And I don't know, do you want to hit on the narratives here or anything, or do you want me just to go ride right into it?
Since you've teased the missing piece here, and I think the narrative that Pete has put here for him is accurate, and you've described it here. He's a nice story, but not a true franchise quarterback, just a placeholder.
I know.
You've said they ask him to do a lot as that placeholder.
Right.
So you teased it. There's a lot to get into with Geno, but you teased it. What's his flaw, his biggest flaw in your eyes?
His flaw, one, is for as gifted as a thrower he is, and he can make you wow throws, he can definitely lose control of the football, right? He can miss throws and targets at times where you just go, wait, what? I just saw you make like these 4 high-level, unbelievable throws, and now, damn, I mean, DK's open on a slant. He's open on an out route, and we just missed it. Like, what? So there is a little bit of that, right? I think there's also, I like aggressive quarterbacks. I think here is one where I'd go, he's a little better when he's a little less aggressive. He sometimes is a little too it's DK back there. He's one-on-one. I'm just going to draw back and throw it and do him no matter what, right? It doesn't matter. I don't even look at the coverages. I'm just coming back and I'm chucking it to him, right? So there is some of that, some of a hanging on the first read too much, which great throwers do at times because they're always like, I'm going to fit it in there. I just need a little window, right? So that can lead to that. And then I think the other part would be the last part that's missing from him is the get out of danger clause, right?
Yeah.
Getting pressure, getting blitzed. Where's the smart spot to get rid of the ball and get the completion, move the chains, do something that way? Not take the sack instead of throwing it away, stuff like that, right? That's when you start to dive through it. You see plays there where you go, he threw it away, but damn, the guy, right, he's open right there over the middle. Like that definitely was part of your coaching point to throw to him if you got hot, right? So there's some of that at times where, or he's getting pressure and he'll start to fade and go, I'm going to wait. DK's going to come open. I'm going to come open. And then it's sack or he has to throw it away where you're going, wait, Lockett was open underneath for the 7-yard throw. Like we should have just hit that. So I think that would be some of the stuff that I think Geno could go to the next level with. Mm-hmm. And what I want to say to that before you either prove me wrong or go with me is that here's another one where some of those flaws I do go, gosh, damn, the team, they didn't run the ball very well and they did not protect very well either, right? And of course, their defense is a little all over the place, too. So I do think that plays into him maybe being a hair too aggressive at times. But regardless, there's too much of that, and I think that is an area he can clean up.
So he was not helped by the pieces around him last year. He's got a new offensive coordinator.
Yep, right.
You got Ryan Grubb coming over here, of course, a new head coach, and Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald and the new coaching staff. This is what Geno said about them. New coaching staff, old coaching staff, I got everything to prove, he told reporters. That's every day. That's the way I wake up every day. I'm competing with Sam Howell. I know he's competing with me. I'm going to compete my butt off. So he's going out there with everything to prove again, which is probably good for him. His numbers did take a step back last year. It's like 2022 was a real good year. He was 15th for you last year on this list. In every significant category, 30 touchdown passes to 20. His quarterback rating dropped like 10 points last year. So it was a step back for him. Do we have any idea with Ryan Grubb?
Right.
He comes from Fresno State.
Yeah.
And Washington.
Right. Michael Penix-ish, right?
Very pass-heavy offenses.
Yeah.
Here are his college ranks. You see the pass yards in college for Ryan Grubb, who's a little older than I anticipated and more gray in the beard.
Hey,
I don't know what I was picturing
a coach,
in my head.
Though. This guy, I got a chance
he
to
looks
meet
like
him.
a coach. You did?
I did. And I really liked him.
Where'd you meet him?
I met when I did those early Peacock games, right? And Washington played Michigan State. I got to meet him, and I gushed all over him because, again, you know me with college football. At times, I'm a little like, I wish they did a little more on D, a little more on O.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm getting ready for that game, and I'm watching Washington, and I'm going, damn, this Washington offense, I would have loved to play quarterback in this offense. And I just kept going, damn, this guy's good. Who the hell is this Ryan Grubb guy? I mean, they got answers for everything. They got great formation, creativity, route creativity. He's aggressive, all of that stuff that I love. So I think this is going to – I honestly think in a lot of ways this is going to fit Geno Smith more than the last offense he was in.
Now, you saw those stats. Yeah. They did not run the ball very much at all at Fresno State or at Washington.
No, they
so
did
if they're
not.
going to get a better running game, I don't know that Ryan Grubb was the guy to bring that.
Right. Yeah, hopefully they can because we know they got two backs there that got some talent. And they can't just put it so much on Geno's shoulders. But, again, I do think they're going to put it on Geno's shoulders. That's what's kind of shocking for the placeholder guy, not the future franchise, right? He's got three receivers that are top notch that you would argue and go, hey, the potential of those three is as good as any three in football. So that's awesome. But I do think this is where, Geno can really push the ball down the field, and he can push it with ease, right? If there was a negative about Geno at times, I told you, he can be a little too aggressive. He doesn't always anticipate. Right? He doesn't always anticipate the throws. Like, hey, the guy's about to come open. Let me just throw it with a little touch out there and let him run underneath it, right? Just chucks it a little too much. But I think this offense is a little more conducive to chucking it, like you saw Michael Penix.
Get people open.
Get people open. And as we talk about, like, a lot, right? Just because the throw is farther down the field and it's a higher degree difficulty of throw, it doesn't mean it's a higher degree difficulty of seeing the field and making a decision, right? A lot of the times those cleans things up, right? You hear me say all the time, and these are the things he struggles with a little bit, Geno. 3-step game, quick throw. Oh, wait, this guy dropped here, that guy dropped there, and I didn't see the field that well, or I didn't know my receiver was going to adjust like that. That takes some of this stuff out when you run that kind of offense, right? And it can be quarterback friendly in that way to just be like, wow, we've really spread the field. I can really see the coverage. The routes are down the field and in all different parts of the area, so I can really evaluate where I can throw the football and be safe with it and all that. Yeah. And I could see with those receivers, as long as they can protect, they could be scary doing that.
Here's an interesting thing, and Mina Kimes brought this up on one of her many shows that she does. Geno Smith, among all quarterbacks last year in QBR, was first on first down last year. So on first down, there was no one better. And that offense was not better than Geno Smith throwing the football.
That is interesting.
How about that? What do you make of that
I
stat?
don't even know what to make of that. I don't know what.
Maybe it doesn't mean much. Maybe it means a lot. I don't know. I really don't know.
No, it's an interesting thing to wrap your head around. I'm trying to think if I could even come up with a logical explanation for anything there. I mean. I always think first down, the first thing I think of is, hey, play action comes into play there a little bit. And, they did that a little. It wasn't a huge play action football team that way. But But I would guess that's it a little bit more than anything.
Sure.
Attacking with a passing attack, and you're getting a defense a little bit in the, well, they could run or pass here. Let's play a defense that kind of protects against both.
But to your point, it was a team that didn't effectively run the ball
Not
that
really,
well.
not at
so
all. No,
kind
they
of
took
an
a step
impressive thing
back.
for
It
Geno
is.
there on
It
first
is.
down. It was the other downs that were a problem for him. Now the question is, will Sam Howell be a problem?
Simpler, too. I think that's the problem on first down, too. Simpler. Now we're in 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 10 and those kind of things. Defenses should do more. And again, those are the things I'm talking about with Geno sometimes not seeing the field, not knowing to go with the ball right away, quick, do all that stuff.
Sam Howell is the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
He did not make your top 40.
No.
Is he a threat to Geno in his starting job? So in a report in May, maybe Sam Howell is going to get close, and Geno Smith is on shakier ground than people realize. So Geno tweeted, "You just made this BS up. Media is full of liars. It's so crazy."
Yeah.
He's not talking about us. We don't make anything up.
He
we
knows
talk from our
he
heart.
knows I don't lie. With me, he's kind of like, Chris, you need to lie a little bit more, honestly.
You really think that? Do not admit that. No, but so here's Sam Howell last year. The sacks for Sam Howell was crazy last year. I mean,
crazy.
It doesn't seem. I do like.
He's actually all the problems we talk about with Geno Smith. Sam Howell just has them in a greater way. That's how I would really. That's how I would say it.
Yeah,
it really is. I don't think, to your question and what you're going to ask, I think he is no threat as we sit here right now to replace Geno Smith. Now, Sam Howell, like with what we just talked about with Ryan Grubbs and that offense and everything there, he does fit that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things he does good. Let me sit back there all day and throw the ball down the football field, And he doesn't have a quick release or any sidearm stuff or all that. So, if they don't play well early on or Geno Smith's not playing well, he's not so much solidified the starter that they won't put that guy in. That's what I'll say. But I don't think there's any competition during training camp or anything like that. Again, Geno is more talented than the world is realizing. If people got to see Geno in person a little bit, and I know you've heard me say this for 3 straight years now, I think everybody would go, wow. First off, I didn't know he was that big. Second off, holy crap, the ball, he can really throw it. And you'd go, wow, he really moves around well to go along with that and that size and that arm. So, there's a lot there, but there is definitely some nuance, some polishing, some more experience to be gained in certain aspects of the game that I think he can improve on.
Did throw for 300 yards 4 times last year. Did it against Dallas. That's pretty good. Did it against Detroit. Did it against Cincinnati. Did it against Washington. So some good teams, some defenses that had trouble with the pass, though,
that's
too.
what I would say, and are aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Dallas defense was awesome, right? But that fits him, right? Oh, you're going to play man-to-man on DK? Oh, okay, great. If he just beats you by a step, that's what I want to do anyways. I just want to throw to him, right? So that fit him. Oh, it's man-to-man, and Tyler Lockett's running a post man-to-man, right? That fit him, those kind of games, right? That would be the big point there. But I like Geno, and of course I'm rooting for him because like some of the other quarterbacks we've talked about, the Sam Darnolds, other people like that. I feel like he didn't get a fair shake early on in his career, and it's good to see him getting, a little respect to his name here right now.
You have him as a top 20 quarterback in the NFL in 2024, and probably in 2015, people would have thought you would be crazy. That would never even come close to happening, and here he is. He's been a starter for 3 years now with the Seattle Seahawks, a team right around playoff contention the past couple of years. So that's 19. We go to number 18. 18 in your top 40 quarterback list is
Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins.
Close.
I don't think I said that right.
Tagovailoa.
Did I say Tagovailoa?
I think you just Taga.
Let me do that again. Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins, number 18. Sorry, I did not mean to say that there. It's sometimes I see a word and I think I just sound it out, right as it looks, and I just talk, and I'm an idiot that way. So
Tua's 18. Tua's 18.
Tua is the man. Tua is the reason we just say Tua. We know who he is. Okay, Tua is 18. Tua can do it all. Okay, as far as all of a lot of the nuanced things you need for a quarterback, he is the ultimate NFL point guard at quarterback, right? And there is a lot about his game I really like. And when I say, he can do all the nuanced quarterbacky things, I do mean that. He is a very quick decision maker. He has a lightning quick release. His accuracy, especially in short to intermediate throws, I would argue is up there with anybody in football in a lot of ways, right? He can see the field in that little realm, right? the 5 to 12 yard throws, he can see them, I mean, as good as anybody in the game. I'm not even joking. Like, he will drop back at times, and I'll go, holy shit, he got that out quick. And how did he see that window, right? So I'm certainly not going to, hate on him in that department. His throwing is a natural, fluid, flowing motion. I like his motion, right? He does have different arm angles. I like that as well, right? He moves around pretty well, especially in the pocket. He's not a great runner, but he does move around well in the pocket. So all of that I like. Screen game, puts it in the right spots, does all of that. Throwing with anticipation and touch, right? Where I've talked about some of these guys who have more talent than him, right? But that's where I'll give Tua credit. He does have the guy's running a 20-yard in cut. He's not even at the in cut yet. He's not making the break. But I see a hole, the pocket's kind of collapsing. I'm going to throw my change up and kind of lob it in there so he can run in and get it, right? He is very good at that stuff. He's got great touch and feel for the football. So all of that stuff I like. And, of course, we're seeing him get better and better and better, and he stayed healthy. So I'm happy about that.
Dolphins fans have never heard you be so positive about Tua Tagovailoa, and that's actually not fair because you have said some of this stuff in the past.
Yeah.
The ultimate point guard.
Yes.
And this is the tier of is a solid quarterback.
Right.
He's very good.
Right.
But there's always a but.
But can he make the required big-time throws in big-time football games or elements when it gets tough or when the game gets tough and gritty and now it's like, hey, anticipation, right? It ain't going to be there a ton today. You're going to be in the pocket. You're going to have to make a throw with close quarters. People are going to be around you, right? Can you do that against the Buffalo Bills in Week 18 and the pockets collapse and, Jalen Waddle's open for a 20-yard out route, right? And you got to make that throw and you can't really step into it and do that. No, those are the issues here. That's the big question. Is he going to be able to make the big throws and big games to get them over the hump? Right? The game is great when it's a high-flying, hey, we're the Golden State Warriors. We're going to score 170 points today. Boom, 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 boom. He's amazing that way.
75 degrees, southern Florida.
Right. But as we talk about, and we're going to talk about another quarterback similar here in a minute, but as soon as the game gets tough, gritty, ugly, my coordinator's playing a really good defensive coordinator, and my head coach, and they're throwing some wrinkles at us, and he's not all over this defensive game plan like, he was for the first 10 weeks of the year, right? All of a sudden you start to see those kind of flaws, right? And then the fact that he does have to anticipate a little bit more than the normal big arm quarterback and all that. Oh, no, the pocket's collapsed. He has to anticipate too quick in some of those games. The way he throws the ball and you're like, there's 4 guys there, but he had to throw the ball, so quick because he's not big. He's not going to hang in there and make throws while he's getting hit and doing all that, right? To where that's what he has to resort to. And, of course, that's where you could watch his 4 best games and go, he's the best quarterback in football. But then you could watch the 4 bad games and go, damn. Do I want him to be my starter going forward? That's what I mean. And I don't mean it to that extent, but it can get ugly. It can get ugly. The Chiefs game was ugly. Both games. Ugly. The Bills games, both games are ugly. The Ravens, beyond ugly. Disaster. So that's what I mean. There is a hot and cold element, and that question of, can he get you over the hump in those big games?
Right.
That's what I would say there.
So that's the question. And you brought up his worst games, right? And unfortunately for Tua, it seems like the past couple years, especially last year, his worst games came at the end.
Moments,
and it wasn't even just at the end. It was literally his 3 worst games were the 3 last games they played. Week 17 versus Baltimore. Week 18 versus the Bills. And then in that cold playoff game in Kansas City.
And the Chiefs.
On Peacock. Exclusive.
Right.
It was a good time. We had a fun time in studio.
We had a great time.
But they did not in that game. And so that would make you pause because the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl, and you're going to have to win in elements, especially in the AFC at some point. And is he able to do that?
I think that's it. Or even go when was that Tennessee Titans game? Like 2 weeks before those games that you just talked about?
Yeah.
Because they lost that game too, and that's where I would go into the thing. I go. I think the Tennessee Titans game was like mid-December. I feel like it was.
December 11th.
Okay, so that was like week 14. And if you remember, that wasn't beautiful either. And that was because, right, it was the Titans and Vrabel had a pretty good game plan, and they made the game kind of ugly.
That game was in Miami, too.
It was in Miami, yeah. But they did some things creatively on the game plan side of the ball, and it gave them struggles. You know, it took away the system advantages that he's very good at taking advantage of. And I'm not taking anything away from that, because there's a lot of quarterbacks in football where I'd go, hey, they have more talent than he is, but I don't know if they can take advantage of all the things he's being taught and take advantage of all the system rules and everything they have that way. But at the same time, when those system rules and advantages are taken away, you'd like your guy that you think is going to be the future franchise of your quarterback to just go, hey, he can make some throws and make some plays off schedule and do stuff like that to help us weather the storm right now until the play caller gets a better feel for what the defense is doing, right? And that sometimes does not happen with Tua. And that's where, again, we get into the contract, how much do you pay him, and all of that is going to be a very interesting conversation as we go forward.
So Pete has noted the narrative around him is he is in a good system but can't do anything outside of it. But you just don't say that to Dolphins fans because they still want to believe in the Tua hype. And, of course, why wouldn't you want to believe that? Last year it was easy to believe in it because, as you see by his numbers, led the league in passing yards, was top 5 in completion percentage, yards per attempt as well, passing touchdowns, passer rating last season. I was looking at his game log just now. His last 300-yard game, though, was week 11 against the Raiders. And then after that, he did not go over 300 yards.
And even that game wasn't that great. Right? Again, we got to a part of the year where you always hear me say this, right? I used to say this about Jared Goff with the Rams, the McVay specials. We got to the part of the year where the McDaniels specials started to, wither away a little bit because teams were like, wait, they do this when we get in this. And, they start to, teams get figured out a little, right? And that happens to everybody every year. And then it's, of course, on not only the coordinator to kind of readjust, but the quarterback to be able to fight you through some of those moments too. And that's where, I question that a little bit. And I don't know where, again, I know what he is. I hope he can get better at throwing the ball like we talked about with the power throws. There's certain games and things where it feels like teams are not really worried about where he's throwing the ball, right? And you know me, I'm big into make a defense defend every square inch of the field. And sometimes the Dolphins have to do that throughout the offense, and it's not necessarily because of Tua's arm and ability that way.
Per Pro Football Focus, he had the lowest time to throw, 2.33 seconds, so they're getting the ball out fast in that offense, and they function best when they're doing that.
Right, that's right.
He had the highest grade of any Pro Football Focus quarterback last year, but they recently came out with their rankings. They're trying to compete with what we do here on Simms Unbuttoned, and they had him 14th in their system. So they're starting to see things, and I think the whole football community is starting to see things a little bit how you see this too.
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be negative. I think it's cool that PFF used to just stay by their grades.
It really did, yeah.
I think it's very cool that they're looking at it going, yeah, the grade is good, but there's other things here that are helping that grade, and it's not necessarily Tua related, right? I think that what I'm trying to say a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're seeing, and that's the big question, just going forward. And of course, that was the question by the past regime and all of that. But there's a lot of good. There definitely is. It was good to see him play a full year and stay healthy that way. I also saw a little edge in him at times last year. I did. The way he talked to the media, some of the things he said when people were hating on him and all that, I like that. He got to bring more of that edge to his football team. That offense needs that. I don't know if that offense has a guy, right, that is like a vocal, hey, what the are you guys doing? We got to pick our shit up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they have that guy. And, hopefully Tua can help that out a little bit.
They have the coolest wide receiver room, maybe in the history of the NFL.
I mean,
the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, who just got paid. We just found out before we started here. And Odell Beckham.
Yes.
I mean, there's never been a cooler wide receiver room in the history of the NFL.
Might be the richest wide receiver room ever too. With
true.
those three guys getting paid like that, right?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it is. They got some personalities down there. They got some talent. I talked about this today on PFT.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, to me, are in a very critical point of their organization right now for the near future and all of that. Right? They got. I mean, of course, the Tua situation. They're a good football team. It's year 3 for McDaniel, right? They haven't got past the wild card round. There's the question surrounding Tua, right? They they couldn't keep their best O-lineman at guard who went to Carolina Panthers, right, last year, right? They got a tackle on his last leg in Teron Armstead, right? They lose their center. They can't pay Christian Wilkins, okay? They just paid Jalen Waddle big-time money, which is going to lead to Tyreek Hill going, wait, Jalen Waddle's making more than me and I'm better than him. I want more money. That's what's going to happen here, right? So they got that, let alone the Tua contract, let alone Jalen Ramsey. They're paying a lot for where he is in his career. They got Jalen Phillips coming off an Achilles tear, who's a superstar. They got Bradley Chubb, who they're paying a ton, who's coming off an ACL tear late in the season, right? They just drafted another pass rusher because they're worried about which one of those guys could be healthy and contribute, and Chop Robinson, right? Yep. And then they're going to have to pay Javon Holland like he's the top safety in football to go along with that. Like, the Dolphins got a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of roster movement this past year, and I could see that happening again next year. I'm interested to see kind of what they look like this year. I know they're going to be fun and exciting and fast and highlighty. But again, I'm still going to question whether they can win those tough, gritty football games we're talking about.
Stephen Ross is probably the one to Roger Goodell telling him to sell more games to Netflix so they can increase that salary cap, because they need it, maybe more than most teams out there, to keep all the guys that you just mentioned together. So I don't want this to be totally negative. I feel like there was some negative here, but we want to sing the praises
I started
here.
so positively, you couldn't get over it. Now you're reeling me in the other way.
Remember all that stuff. And also, I think maybe the biggest pushback that you'll get from Dolphins fans is like, what do you mean? He's got a great deep ball. We see him hit Tyreek Hill, and there's some video recently from OTAs. A deep ball to rookie Taj Washington. Is it Taj Washington here? And it is, look at that. Like, the nose
he can
coming
throw
down.
some beautiful deep balls.
So here you go. There's the counterpoint.
No, and he can. As far as like fades, right? Little go routes, corner route that he's got to throw maybe before the guy comes out on a break, right? He's beautiful. Beautiful that way. He really is. But at the same time, I could show you a bunch of other throws during the year to go, like, damn, Tyreek's gone here. Waddle's gone. And they had to stop, or the ball didn't get there. It got knocked down, right? So there's still that aspect, too.
Yeah.
And, he gets delivered some down the field throws that are just, phenomenal, right? I mean, because of all the things he's wheeling, he's dealing, it's quick, boom, boom. Hey, it's throw here to Tyreek, it's a screen here to Waddle. Oh, there's Mozart to the toss crack. Oh, there's a, fake throw to Tyreek and a screen over here. So then the defense starts to creep up, and they're like, we got to take away all these quick damn things they're doing with these guys. And then it's like, oh, boop. There goes Tyreek. See you later, right? So, there's a little of everything there. He's a really good player. There's no doubt about it. I'm not rooting against them. There's lots of positives. I think the negatives we talk about are very apparent to everybody, and I don't think I'm trying to hate on them, being too critical there. I think those are real questions that are circulating around the NFL and even into the public, like you're talking about, and let's see if he can squash them this year.
Will he get a new contract? That's the question for a lot of these quarterbacks here. I mean, $50 million, that's the going rate for a quarterback, especially one who led the league in passing yards last year. He was 21 last year for you. He was in the crap or get off the pot tier. I think he crapped.
I do.
He did well.
Yeah.
And it's the first time he's in the top 20 for you. So maybe moving his way up slowly but surely. He is 18. I'm glad that we have 17 right after him, because I think some similar talking points.
Exactly right.
Number 17 on your list is
Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers, the ultimate Shanahan quarterback. That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, okay, and there's some system involved, obviously. System quarterback, but system plus. It's not just all system quarterback, right? I mean, it's not. I mean, first off, Brock Purdy, a little bit like Tua, has the ability to handle all the offense that Shanahan gives him, right? He can, and then take that to the football field and execute it at a pretty high level. That's where he's light years above a Jimmy Garoppolo, right? I mean, that's Jimmy Garoppolo. It was like, we don't know what we're going to expect from him. We don't know if we're going to get this check right. We don't know where he's going to throw the football, right? If he just threw the ball where he was supposed to in the first Super Bowl, they would have won the Super Bowl, period. Period. Brock Purdy doesn't mess that type of stuff up at all. So he's great that way. He's a damn good athlete. He can run. Legit run. You saw it in the NFC Championship game. Even in the playoffs, the Packer game, he found ways to do it, right? He can scramble to throw and do stuff like that as well. And for not a real big guy, he tries to play big. He does try to do that, right? So those are the positives about Purdy. And here's a little more positives. Like we talked about with Tua, great feel, right? Great anticipation. Like a lot of high-level quarterback plays where you watch the play and you go, well, the ball should go here. And you look and you go, well, damn, it's already there. Like whoa, okay, holy shit, he made that was quick. Like, I've talked about this with Shanahan before where he's been like, he makes decisions sometimes where I come back and I'm like, I don't even know how he made that decision that quick. Like, that is incredible, right? He has that ability. And that's where he's great. Feel, touch, some of that is really good. But as we know, we're in the phase of this here, and there is some of that to go around too. Well, you want to go into that?
I mean, why not? Let's just get it all on the table.
Okay,
first.
You want it all on the table?
I don't want to hang it over his head. Like Brock would be listening to this and be like, I know he's going to talk something negative.
A little like Tua in the fact that, right, I would say if the game, and it's not quite to this point, but if the game gets a little ugly or if Shanahan can't deliver, you're not going to see consistent great play from Brock Purdy, right? It's a little bit like, hey, when Shanahan's got it going, it's awesome. But, who did he struggle against, right? It's a little bit like Tua. The game got ugly. Great defensive coordinators. I know they're great defenses and all that, but it's like there was struggle. Like it was struggle. Whether you talk about the Ravens game late in the year, whether you talk about the Packers game, the Lions game wasn't very good either. Let's not, let's be serious. And of course, the Super Bowl was just okay, right? And that's when, the Shanahan tricks get taken away and he can't get in rhythm and get going that way. He can still make some throws, and no doubt he can do that. And like we saw in the Super Bowl, he can get out of the pocket and make a few plays and do that, definitely. But, like I've said with some other guys, there's a lot more wow decisions than wow throws on the tape. That's what I would tell you. And there are more missed throws on tape than you realize. He gets the benefit of the doubt in some games where you go, damn, that guy was open. I can't believe he missed that. And then the next play is, well, this guy's really wide open, and he just ran for 40 yards after the catch, and we forget about the missed throw that he missed the play before. Where with a lesser team and a lesser quarterback or something, we're all over it because then we're like, they had to punt the ball. He had that guy open on second down. He missed it, and their team wasn't good enough to get somebody wide open on third down, to create that amnesia we're talking about there. All right, so I'm not done yet. Shut up, okay?
There's more negatives. There's more negatives.
Well, he's got a very long motion, right? Even though he tries to play big, he's not. So even though he will hang in there more than most of your normal big quarterbacks, he doesn't make a lot of very good throws with people hanging around him and stuff like that either, right? And his motion he needs space. His motion is one of the slowest in football.
Interesting.
It is long and deliberate, right? He does it more with his decision-making in his mind to get the ball out quick, right? But it's not the actual motion of the football that gets out quick. You picture his motion. Think about it. It's very floppy, and the arms go everywhere, right? And it takes him a minute to kind of load it up to throw the football. And that's definitely a negative about his game.
Brian Greasy's there. He should fix that.
I know. Yeah, Greasy had a great motion. I mean, quick and as efficient as it gets.
So you mentioned it. The narrative around him is that he's a product of Kyle Shanahan, like a younger Jimmy Garoppolo. But you think he's better than Jimmy.
I think he's better
the
than
things
Jimmy
that he does
Garoppolo.
is better. And last year, it's almost like he was Tua just out west. As you're taking a look at his numbers from last year, it was top 5 in completion percentage, pass yards, yards per attempt, pass TDs, passer rating last season, led the NFL in yards per attempt. And passer rating. So he did all that stuff.
Yeah.
He also did not have a fourth quarter comeback, a game-winning drive. And you can say, like, he didn't need to, right? You're on a good team. You're winning a lot. You don't need that stuff. But he has not been put in the situation where he's had to do that. And so same questions with Tua here. When the game needs to be on you to win it, can he be the guy to do that? You have him one spot ahead of Tua, so you believe a little bit more in him than the last guy we talked about, but still in that same category.
Still in that category. The only reason I think I give him a little bit more of an advantage of Tua is the fact that, I think he can make some of those power throws that we talk about Tua can't make. I think Purdy can do that. I do. I do think Purdy can be like, I got to throw this 20-yard out route, and I got a guy in my face, and I can put it where I need to put it, right? Might not be the quickest. It might not be the laser through the air football that we want to see or love, whatever. But he can do that. I think that's where he has an advantage on Tua. But, there's so many plays in the game, and not in every game, but in a lot of games when you watch him, right? And I had some of these written down. That's where I'm pissed I forgot my other notebook. Of, like, you'd go, man, a top 10 quarterback would have make this play. Like, they would make this play or do this. Or, wait, we got the deep crosser in the post over the top, right? Right? Okay, he's setting up to throw the crosser. And okay, whoa, the post is there. This could have happened in the Super Bowl. The post is there. Like, your pocket's clean. Reset, throw the post. It's a touchdown, right? But those are things, it takes him too long to gather up and get it. And then, of course, his arm isn't explosive enough to just do some of that stuff. Where I'd go, some of the quarterbacks we talk about in the top 10, right? We would go, wait, I expect him to make that throw. I expect him to make that throw. I expect him to make that throw. And I look at Brock Purdy throughout the year and just go, well, no, that's not what he does. He's not going to make that throw. That's not what he is right there.
Now, perhaps a little bit at odds with some of the things you talk about with him under pressure. He actually had the second best completion percentage under pressure last season.
Okay.
By contrast, Tua was the fifth worst.
Right.
That's also could be a function of
the offense, the system. He knows where to go with the ball and do all that. He's great at stuff like that.
Yes.
He is. So that's where he's really special. And he doesn't blink under pressure. I'm not saying that. He's just not the most physically gifted, talented guy you ever see that's going to, like, make unbelievable throws with people, in his face. Or it's, oh, man, sidearm. He's getting hit, but he still threw the 15-yard out. Sidearm off his back foot. That's what I kind of mean by pressure, right? When he has an answer and knows where to, like that, I don't even worry about that. Boom, he's good, right? But, as we saw, like, here's another one, like we talked about Tua, right? Okay, let's go through it. I mean, again, when we kind of just, we hit it already. I already said it. The playoff games, the Ravens game, the Browns game, right? The Browns game, he led them on a game-winning drive, and they missed a field goal, right? Pete reminded me of that a minute ago.
But that's also a game where he was...
It was pitiful.
12 of 27
it was
for
pitiful.
125 yards.
Exactly right. He had no business winning the divisional playoff game this year. None. He should have thrown 4 interceptions at least. I mean, he hit Green Bay in the chest like 5 different times. He missed people open everywhere. He wasn't that much better in the Lions football game. And, of course, in the Super Bowl, what I would say to a lot of people, right, and I've said this to innocent bystanders who ask me at times, I just go, well, no. I mean, if you had a top 10 quarterback, you won the Super Bowl. The 49ers are the Super Bowl champs, right? There was a few plays and throws in that game that I go, no, the top 10, the upper tier quarterbacks that sometimes I hear 49er fans try to say Brock Purdy would be in, I go, no, you would have the Super Bowl then if that was the case. And I'm sorry, that's not it. And we'll see if he can continue to grow his game. He's still young and early in his career, too. Let's not forget that.
He might be able to grow. He might be able to get better. We were talking about Brian Greasy teaching him some things. In the offseason, he was part of a seminar or a performance session. He was there with Caleb Williams. Did you know about that?
I did not, no.
He got paired up with a physical therapist, helps quarterbacks develop their throwing strategy by optimizing biomechanical efficiency.
Yeah.
So this is what Purdy said about it. It's the mobility. It's getting my shoulder to open up more so that my elbow can come through and I can be more efficient thrower. Not just coming in to throw, but actually work on your mechanics. As you throw more and more, your shoulder capsule opens up. This is right up your alley here. Your capsule opens up, your layback comes back, and that allows you to whip the ball more.
Right. Well, what he's trying to say is your body has to throw the ball and your arm has to react to the body.
My focus is on the hips coming through first.
Right.
That will just continue to open up more and more.
There's a lot of this talk out there in the world right now. There's not a lot of people that can teach you how to do what they're just talking about, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to open up more. But how do you open up more? Does he have somebody teaching him that? I don't know. I find quarterbacks all the time where they tell me this stuff and I go, so what'd you do to work on it? And then they can't tell me.
Yeah.
And I go, well, you just opening your shoulder up? Like, what bad habit are you lying into now? But Greasy will stay on him. And I would think that, and hopefully they can find a way to tighten his motion up a little bit. I do think that is something that can be helped with his game. And like I said, that ability to be like, oh, wait, okay, I'm supposed to go here. Like, I was supposed to go 1 to 2, and I was kind of getting ready to throw 1. Oh, but, man, 1's covered at the last second, and I see 2 open. Can I get it there with, some pace and reset my feet and let it rip? And those are things he's not the best at.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. And that's why he is 17.
That is why he is 17.
In the thumbs up emoji, but emoji. Fingers on the chin, rubbing the gray beard. So that's 17 for you. We got 2 more to talk about. Still in the same tier.
Yeah.
You still like these guys a lot.
I do.
But there's some negatives.
Yes.
And we'll get into those negatives, but hopefully a lot on the positives. For your number 16 quarterback, who is
Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals, right? Hey, Kyler Murray, tough year last year. We know that. He was coming back from ACL injury, right? Not totally himself. And then within that, he gets thrusted into, wait, it's my first time in a new offense with this new coach, new head coach, new play caller, all of that. And I'm in the middle of the season and kind of trying to get my feet wet again here, and everybody else is greased up and, full season mode, right? But with Kyler Murray, I mean, I'm not going to break any news here to you, and I don't think I'm going to break news to anybody that's been listening to me talk about Kyler Murray altogether. I mean, incredible talent. Incredible, right? He has incredible talent in every aspect of his game, and he still has untapped potential, right? With him, it's everything negative is pocket related. That's really all it is, okay?
So Pete notes the narrative here on him, and you might agree with this. This might be the negative. Exciting at times, but if you keep him in the pocket, he looks and plays small.
Yes, that is a little bit like we talk about, with Tua and that, hey, big game, gritty, ugly football, right? I'm in the NFC. I might have to play in some NFC East, Northeast type of games, late in the year. The field's slow and it's just hitting and cold and all that. I don't know. I got to see more before I put more of a stamp of approval on Kyler Murray. Arm is awesome, right? Can get the ball out of his hand as quick as anybody in football, basically, except for maybe the top 2 or 3 guys. But, he can really get it out, right? He could stand on his back foot and throw it as hard as he wants. Of course, his movement and his running is out of this world good, right? It's in the upper echelon of football, and he wasn't even 100% himself last year running around and doing that. So all of that is great. Can make eye-popping throws, right? Does have like a little anticipation. Can he get better at that? Certainly. Now, he will miss throws. One of my biggest issues with Kyler Murray is he's way too talented to miss some of the throws he misses. And what he does do, and he has a little mechanical flaw, and I think this is baseball that gets back into him a little. When he wants to throw it harder, he lets his arm go back even farther. It sometimes is almost straight behind him. Like his arm is straight. And that, like, no quarterback does that.
That's baseball.
That's a baseball, right? Like, let your arm go, son. Let it go, right? You hear like your baseball coach say that deal. Let it go. Don't worry. It's a baseball, right? He does that at times. But there ends up being a disconnect between his body and the things Brock Purdy was just talking about with biomechanics to now it doesn't connect and the ball sprays. And you're like, damn, Kyler, like, you're way too awesome. And I watched you the week before and you were throwing strikes and lasers everywhere. And now we can't hit a wide open 10-yard out route and stuff like that, right? So there's some of that creeps into his game at times. But he sees the field pretty damn well, right? He does. He certainly can make off-schedule plays, and he can make a lot of big-time power, explosive plays with his arm. But that pocket stuff, he's too quick to leave the pocket at times, right? When he feels it collapsing, he's not patient enough to just stand there and go, wait, hey, the guy's going to come open. I got to just stand here and throw it. I'm going to get hit, blah, blah, blah. Not the best there. There is some duck and chuck going on there, right? So that happens. And throws over the middle, like I've talked about in the past with Russell Wilson, are an issue to me at times as well. And that's what gets into big guy, big man football, right? You're going to play the Eagles in the divisional round next year, right? It's going to be like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Like, they're going to be in your face up the middle. Like, this just in. Right? So, right, can you stand in there and make a big throw down the middle to Trey McBride, the tight end, or some of the other guys? I know they beat the Eagles in Philadelphia last year, so it's not maybe the best way. Yeah. But they did that with a great running game that day, and he made some sporadic throws. But
it was when the Eagles
the
were one
Eagles
of the
were
worst
totally
teams in the
dysfunctional. Is
NFL.
what I was getting to.
It
They
was
were
week
horrible
17.
at that point.
So not full credit for that victory over Philadelphia.
Like I should say the 49ers or somebody like that. That might have been better. It held more water as far as the point trying to be made there.
So we have some recent video on Kyler Murray. Maybe he's fixed it. Maybe he's not having the ball separate from his body. Here we go. He's wearing the vest. Okay. All right. Good throw over the middle. Nice job. Oh, got the helmet on this time.
Looks good. Wait, he's even out there, Ball didn't come out totally clean.
No, I didn't step into that one.
No, that's just a warm-up throw.
There's Marvin Harrison. So that brings us to the point on the weapons that he has. You mentioned Trey McBride. They had a great connection when he came back. So the 8 games when he came back, McBride had 53 catches for over 500 yards.
Yeah.
So that's, if you say that full season, that's a 1,000-yard tight end.
Yes.
They've got Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
They got Michael Wilson, who we like from last year, Stanford, second year now.
Right.
You got James Conner, Trey Benson, the Florida State running back they got. They got some weapons there.
Right.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch them on offense.
Even they got the other Stanford kid, too, from 2 years ago that I liked. That was kind of the tight end, right? Wasn't it Elijah Higgins? Right? Am I wrong about that? I thought.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yep, they do. They have him.
So, I like their...
They got Tip Ryman.
They got
from Illinois.
my
You liked
favorite
him?
blockhead in the world.
They got Zay Jones. They got Zach Pascal. So they've got some talent around Kyler.
They do. And in a lot of ways, I think this new offense is going to be better for him. I think this offense is better for him than the Cliff Kingsbury.
In what ways?
Well, I think, one, it's not going to put everything on him all the time. Just get in the shotgun, make a quick decision, make a great throw. If it's not there, scramble and run for us. Like that was kind of his answers, and with the pass regime, they're gonna run the ball. He is gonna have play action pass. They are gonna make him get underneath the center. And one of the things I'm sick of with this whole, because this is college football and it's ruined us that way, where we think we have to play these guys in the shotgun and play spread. And you've heard me say this before. You watched him play last year. Some of my favorite plays are when he's underneath center. He gets to play action pass. There's a ton of room, right? He's not a big guy. I just talked about his issues playing in the pocket. So now he's got space to see downfield. He's got a great arm. And what also does that space do? The space gives him all these running lanes. So so sometimes I go, this spread stuff actually constricts people. Now we get underneath the center. Oh, wait, we might have to stop the run. Oh, wait, it's not a run. It all expands, right? Like we talked about with the Ryan Grubbs and Geno Smith.
Yeah.
The throws are down the field. A smaller quarterback, he can see it all. And now he's got space between the line and where he's throwing the football. Oh, wait, somebody breaks through. Oh, boop, I made you miss. Oh, I still got room to set up and throw. Or I got a ton of room to just run now because you're all down the field worried about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson. Yeah. And I just think some of that, and that the fact that they're going to play more of a team cohesive game, I'd be excited for that. I think it could look a lot differently, and he could surprise us this year.
So he could move up, as he did last year. Was 19 last year, moved up to 16. He was 12 in 2022. Now, in 2001, he was 7th, the highest you've ever had him.
Right.
That was the year that he went 7-0. He was like the MVP favorite.
Right.
It's feeling like that is the peak, the ceiling of Kyler Murray.
Maybe.
It's feeling like that was 7.
He's got to squash what we're talking about.
Best.
He's got to squash what we're talking about. And Kyler Murray might be one of those guys where, we might have feel better too. Like, hey, he's another guy I'd go, hey, he can improve as a leader in his approach and his effect on the football team, right? I think he's one guy where I think he's a great guy. I don't doubt that. I know he loves football. But what happens sometimes with a guy like Kyler Murray is they're so physically gifted, right? They don't maybe worry about the little things. They're like, I'm going to lead you because I'm just going to show up here and be the man, and we're going to win the game, right? College, high school, I never lost a game.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm leading you guys. I'm leading you to the victory, right?
Yeah.
But there's more to it in the NFL, as we know. And you're not always going to be on the best team, and it's Oklahoma. And it's going to be ugly and gritty, and some games are going to be horrible, and you're going to be not that good, and you got to own up to it and do that stuff, and maybe get on a guy every now and then and do that stuff. That, to me, is another place where he could grow and make us feel better about him overall as a player.
Yeah, and as he gets older, I mean, he's still, he's going to be 27 in August, but now you're getting the Marvin Harrisons and you're getting some 20-year-old guys, and you're kind of grown into that.
Exactly.
That veteran spot. Can you grow into a leader in that same capacity? We will see. So we have now hit 3 starting quarterbacks from the NFC West today. Geno, we got Brock, and now Kyler Murray. So DraftKings has the NFC West odds to win the division and to make the playoffs. To the surprise of nobody, the 49ers are favored in both there to win the division, minus 195 to make the playoffs, minus 600. The Rams, second choice right now, plus 330 to win the division. Then you got the Seahawks. Then you got the Cardinals down there, which are plus 300 to make the playoffs, which is probably significantly better than they were just last year.
Definitely. I mean, I picked the 49ers too. I think this division got better, right?
Yes, I think so too.
I don't, and the best quarterback in the division is the one with the LA Rams on there, right? He's still the best quarterback in the division. But, I think the Rams we know are coming, right? And they're going to be all the 49ers can handle. I think the Seahawks are going to get a bump here too from Mike McDonald, new defensive scheme in the conference and the division, right?
Yeah.
What the hell does this guy do? We don't really have a book on him, right? The new energy he'll bring to the team in general. And then I feel the same way about Arizona. Again, Arizona they're really well coached. I'm impressed by what I saw from Arizona, even going back and watching Kyler again. I like what they do, how they call the game on the offensive side of the ball, all of that, right? So we'll see. But I think that division is going to be more competitive this year than it was the last 2 years.
It was trending in the opposite direction. It was very strong for a long time, and then Cardinals took a step back, and the Rams took a step back, and the Seahawks were borderline 500.
Yeah.
It's bounced back.
It's
for
bounced
sure.
back.
I
think it's going to be scary this year.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
And during the playoffs, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly.
You can download the app, use the promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Unbuttoned is the promo code. We have one more quarterback to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
If this quarterback had a podcast, which I think he'd be probably pretty good at, maybe he does have one. I don't think so.
Don't they all
They
now?
might call it Unbuttoned too, because I feel like that's the way he talks already. Your number 15 quarterback is
Baker Mayfield. You're right. He does talk a lot like me. He's got a dirty mouth. You got an edge about him. You talk about a guy who can lead and show grit and have an effect on your football team right there, where I'd give him an advantage of maybe over some of the guys we talked about today, right? There's no doubt about that, right? To then take over for Tom Brady and then just go to the playoffs, right? Like, whoa. And then, win a game and Tom Brady got blown out in a wild card game the year before. All of that, is impressive. Let me just say, that's the GOAT. He replaced the GOAT and said, I'll one up you, GOAT, as you leave. I mean, there was expectations, his career on the line, all of that. As we said last year, and I think we've said years before, he is a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he's a damn good one. He is. And there's still more to improve on, like we've talked about here. That's where we are. But, I mean, leadership, he's what you want as a starting quarterback. His ability to throw the ball and handle big moments, I think, is what you want too. I mean, he's fearless. And if there was a negative, sometimes it's a little too fearless, right? That would be it. But I think this year, he found the happy medium about week 8 or 9, somewhere in there, to go, wait, this is aggressive. This is aggressively stupid, right? This is not right. Let me find the fine line here. But still can make game-changing throws. You can call plays in the offense and be aggressive and not have to worry about, I don't know if he can throw this or do that, right? He is the type of guy, like I was talking about Brock Purdy. He might be getting ready to throw the deep crosser and then go, wait, the post is open, and he'll throw the post as he's, literally in the middle of throwing the deep crosser, right? But he can be too aggressive. He can lock onto the first receiver too much. Okay, that would be the one thing I would say. And then for 2024, he is a below-average mover and runner. That is why Baker would be where he is right now. But damn, how could you not like the year Baker had and the obstacles he had to overcome, betting on himself, and of course he's still a damn good quarterback on top of that.
He was awesome. So this year will be his 7th in the league. Still just 29 years old. Turned 29 in April. Had a career high 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns. Career high in completion percentage last year when he had a quarterback rating of 100 or above. Team was 5-1, so he was able to carry that team. And I was just looking through his game logs just now.
Yeah,
he only had 2 games where he had multiple interceptions. One was late in the year against the Saints. He had 2.
Yeah,
and then the Lions playoff game.
Oh, the Lions playoff game,
and that came right at the end too. And they had to Derek Barnes interception right at the end there.
Right.
So he took care of the ball. 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So statistically and what it looked like on the field, like this is Baker Mayfield. I don't know. I mean,
I thought you were going to say the Carolina. The Carolina game is one game I remember watching a few weeks ago where he threw some errant passes, but I think they dropped them all. But either way, yes.
Carolina, he was under 50% completion percentage. In that game.
That was not his best game for sure.
Yeah.
Right,
they won. But that's because it was Carolina. But I mean, looking at his career arc here, you've been very high on him in the past. He's had the injury history. Tried to play through that.
Got used against him.
Yes,
and then got let go for Deshaun Watson way too late in the game to where he basically had nowhere to go. It was either like, you can go to Carolina or you can go to Carolina. And he's like, oh, wait, I think I'll go to Carolina. Okay, sounds good.
So 2020 was probably his best year. The team was good. They were 11-5. And he had a quarterback rating of, it was very good.
Had the Chiefs on the ropes. I mean, in the divisional playoff game, if you remember. I mean, they probably could have won the game. Probably should have won the game. Outplayed the Chiefs.
But then he took a step back. Since then, injuries. But I think he's back to what, I mean, would you say favorably to what he was in 2020? You saw in 2023, if not better?
I do. And I think he's got everything you need to continue that growth there, and the fact that they believe in him, right? They play a style of football, I think, that fits him. Right, the defensive Todd Bowles likes the edge he brings to the football team that way, right? So, and like I said, he found that fine line, I think, of aggressive, but there's still going to be work done there, right? There still would be a lot of plays where I'd go, gosh, you threw that. Like, he wasn't really open. I know he was the first read, and I'm all for giving the guy a chance, but, like, that wasn't the time. Like, go to the second and third guy, right? Yeah, there's just that. Or every now and then, like, I can fit it in there, right? A little bit of that as well. Okay, so that's, like, some of the things he can improve on. You've heard me in years past, and still to this degree at times too, he can try to throw the ball too hard. Throwing the appropriate ball, as I went through all his throws, would be still something I go, you could get better at that. Like, the guy's 5 feet away, you don't have to throw it 400 miles per hour. And he's better at it, but it's still like some throws every game where I go, holy shit, like, don't throw it so hard, and he'll catch it, and he would have got 20 yards, right? I mean, stuff like that. But mad respect for Baker Mayfield. And, yeah, I think that he is a starting quarterback in the NFL, and a starting quarterback that, unlike some of the other guys, too, and stuff like that, like, hey, he can make throws and plays off schedule. He's not the best with people around him because he's not real big, but he plays bigger than Purdy and Tua in that sense of, like, I'll still stand in there. I can still see Mike Evans coming across open the middle of the field. I'm still going to throw it, right? Yeah. He's got that on those guys in a big way.
In the conversation for toughest quarterback in the NFL.
Definitely.
We should do that ranking.
Mm-hmm. He'd be up there.
He'd be up there.
Baker Mayfield, though. Mad respect for Baker.
So we have some video of him throwing slow motion.
Yeah.
So slowing things down here, just to kind of take a good majestic look at that, at Baker Mayfield in a hat.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, turning the hips.
Yeah, that's all really good. In fact, that even looks a little tighter than it normally does.
There we go.
Maybe he's going to work on that a little bit.
To your point about him being able to lead a team, you know, last year it was Jason Light, their GM, saying that he's just a freaking awesome dude. The players saw it right away. He would go to the bar with the guys, organize all those trips, visits with the team, and then, you know, it probably played a part in Mike Evans coming back. You'd have to believe, right? If you didn't believe in the quarterback and the direction of the offense, even though Dave Canales is out, you got Liam Cohen in. Don't know a whole lot about him. Kind of came from McVay, that system,
right?
And then where was he?
Was he in Seattle last year? I want to say, was it Seattle?
I just forgot.
Yeah,
he was in Kentucky.
That was
That's
Kentucky.
Right.
That's
offensive
right.
coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Kentucky.
That's right.
Before that, so we'll see how things are different with him, but
not a terribly different system, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be too different, right? I mean, Canales is rooted in McVay land, and Liam Cohen is rooted in McVay land.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's going to be a drastic change to the offense, philosophically.
Right.
Right. And I do agree with you with Mike Evans. He's going, damn, hey, when I'm one-on-one and open, this Baker throws me the ball. I like him.
Yep.
Right. So I don't think there's any doubt there. The Bucs, they're good. They got some talent. There's no doubt about it. Defense has got some talent coming up the ranks. There's a lot to be positive there. But yeah, Baker, tighten that motion a little bit, get off the first read a hair quicker. Those are the things I look at. But either way, the Bucs are a playoff caliber football team. We know that.
And that closes the book on the tier of So there's some questions. We got into those questions, but also talking about what made those guys great. And now it is time.
Uh-oh.
You've got to back up your performance from last week.
I'm nervous. I've been trying not to cheat, like I've told you.
Okay.
I don't want to go before the pod and go, wait, we have things. So I haven't done that.
Good.
I haven't.
Good. But we just saw Baker throw. Were you looking at his grip? Were you trying to see
was
there
not
a little
there.
bit? Okay, good.
But I think I know Baker's grip. So
okay,
we'll see.
so here we go. What's my grip? If you've never seen this game before, Chris aced it last week. We had 6 quarterbacks, got all 6 right. So Tuesday, right? What did I say? Tuesday.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah,
Last
just
pod.
2 days ago.
Last pod. See, time flies. Not that fast.
Well,
All
let's
right.
get the easy ones out of the way. Okay.
All right.
There's only one lefty.
Yes.
That's Tua. That's E.
Yep. E.
Right?
There you go. Tua, and he is as we have seen. What is that? 2 and under.
2 and under 5. Maybe 6.
Is that
there.
6?
It might be. He's all. Yeah.
Wait, is he 3? No, it's 2 and under 6.
Yeah,
right?
let me see. 2, 3.
No, it's 5. It's 5. It's 5.
His.
Right. Wait. How he has? He's missing a lace. Oh no, Pete's saying no.
Yeah.
He's just over the first one. All right, fine.
Yeah,
it
no,
just
I
seems
think
like
he's
it's
two
seems like
and
one
under,
fewer lace.
2 and under 6. I think he's 2 and under 6.
If you're watching, just to comment there, it does look like there's one fewer lace, but okay, whatever. Maybe I'm crazy. All
okay,
right, moving on.
No, but you are right. It does seem like there's one
right? Doesn't it seem
one less lace?
right?
I don't know why.
Have we
but it
just
does.
exposed Tua? Are they using like one laced fewer footballs? Imagine that they're using a miniature football.
Well, let's go to our
the
next one. Right, where it's D is Geno Smith. D is right. Hello. Yes, thank you very
correct.
much.
All right,
yes,
that's
thank
correct.
you.
2
Damn,
for
let's
2.
stay with me, show here, okay?
And Geno is 2 and under.
2
again
and
here.
under 5.
Yep.
Right. So there's another one. Okay. C is Kyler Murray. Nobody. Look how he holds the ball. Look how he holds the ball.
Ooh, which one is
C? It's
Yes.
1 and under 4.
Yeah.
But look how slanted the ball is
Very
into his
slanted,
hand, right?
yes.
So he is really grabbing that top small part of the football
Yep.
and really using it like a baseball, right? Okay, so now who do I got?
So you're 3 for 3 so far.
Purdy and
And by the way,
Baker.
Tua does have the biggest hands of any quarterback here in this ranking, I believe.
Does he really?
80th percentile.
Wow.
10-inch. I didn't know that about Tua.
I did not know that either.
So he doesn't
that
need a
grip
smaller
there,
football.
you could tell. I mean, it's spread out throughout the ball.
There's still
That's
something
for
weird.
sure.
Still something weird about it.
It does seem like there's something weird. I'm with you there. Okay, so I'm down to Purdy and Baker. And I'm not sure.
Oh, this is
Baker's got
tough.
pretty good big hands too.
I think I know this one.
You think you do? I want to say A is Baker and B is Purdy.
See, I would have said the opposite, but you were correct. That's why you have gone perfect 2 pods in a row.
Boom. I thought Baker was one of the only quarterbacks that did the old way. See how Baker has 2 fingers on the
right.
lace?
You're right. He's old school.
He's
right?
old
He would
school.
do that.
So that is how I kind of knew Baker. I wasn't sure of Purdy's grip, but Purdy is actually very similar to Kyler Murray. Instead of the ball being slanted, though, in his hand, right? It's straight up and down, but it looks like he's 1 and under 4 as well.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So, I mean, the one thing that just is glaring to me looking at this is Kyler Murray and how he holds the ball.
Agreed.
Right? It's almost like, wait, how does he throw the ball like that? I mean, it's kind of incredible. It really is. And he's obviously got some strong ass hands to be able to hold it like that and still control it. The Tua one was a surprise though with how big his hand looked on the football. That for sure.
So
Pete thinks that third finger is on that first lace.
what with Tua? So He thinks it's a 1-3 and under 6.
No.
He has big enough hands
Yeah.
to be a 1-3 and under 6.
Let me. Well, I am.
think
I'm
you're
going
right.
to look at some photos right here live on TV because he might be one of
Watch
the,
Chris live on TV.
Is he
Look at
one
photos
guy
on his computer.
that does he put the middle finger on the lace? I don't know if it's like right on the topish lace as I'm
I don't
looking
know. I
through
think
here.
he's on one. I think
that middle finger is on one?
I think there's a lace a little bit above. Yeah, I think he's on one.
It's like it is kind of like that middle finger touches the lace.
1-3
There's no doubt about that.
Under 6. He's got big enough hands to do that.
It's a tight one. It really is. I hold on. I'm gonna pull up one more picture if I can find it here. Okay, I just want to look.
What if we get Tua on, and the one question we ask him is, "Are you 1-3 and under 6 for real?" And he just goes, "Yeah." And we go, "Thanks, Tua."
Here we go. I got another picture. Let
So
me just
Chris
see.
has got another picture on his computer that he is looking at. This is maybe the best TV we've ever made. Here.
Well, it's killing me now, but I think it is. I think. Here we go.
Oh, he's got another one in the rundown here
Oh.
too. If you want to see that.
No, I think he is. The middle finger is on the very, very top, not the gap, but the actual top of the lace, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you're seeing it in the rundown. And then the ring finger is on 3, and the pinky is under 6. I don't think I've ever seen anybody grip the ball like that.
Wow.
Brett Favre was 3 and under 6, but his middle finger was nowhere near the laces.
Right.
Right?
Up towards the top of the ball.
Exactly.
Wow.
So and here I'm going to see this picture that he put in here. But yeah, good job, Pete. I think
Everyone listening to this podcast just pulled off to the side of the road to look up on their phone and see the rare 1-3 and under 6 grip.
it is really a very, very rare grip. I've never seen anybody in football do that. Never. It's the first time.
Oh, here it is. You can see it right
recall.
here. There it is. There's
Right.
the
So we're missing that top. The stitch.
Yeah.
The stitch, you don't see that because his middle finger is on top of it.
is on that top
Right.
stitch.
So it's like not on the gap of what we would call 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the stitch. And then that left ring finger is on the third gap.
Yeah.
Right. 3. And then it's the pinky under 6. Very, very rare.
Which is
very
funny
odd.
when you think about it. It's like that is normally when you talk about a quarterback not good in cold weather, the elements or whatever. It's just like, he's got smaller hands probably. And I kind of just assumed Tua had smaller hands.
Yeah.
But I was wrong on that, and his grip indicates that as well.
Well, it's almost one of those where I wonder, and I would sit there and go, well, maybe he should toy with it a little bit.
Not do that.
maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe find a way to grab the smaller part of the football a little bit, so it's not so much of a
Yeah.
shot put, right? And you can really kind of manhandle a little bit. Like think about Tua, it's a little shot putty at times, right? It's almost like, hey, I got the whole ball here, and I use my body,
Right.
and I don't let my arm go, and all of that. And we talked to my dad was on the pod. I mean, he changed his grip one year in the middle of a season. Right? I mean, he just went.
Won the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
though.
he threw for 4,000 yards the year he did it.
There you go.
He did. He was just a little bit like, I don't like the way I'm throwing it. I'm going to toy with this. And he put it in his hand one day in a different way. And he went, hey, I like this. And he stayed with it.
Imagine a Dolphins fan is listening to this right now.
Yeah.
Sends this clip to Tua. He listens to it, changes his grip, and goes to the next level.
Well,
it's like the one man who has been his harshest critic, Chris Simms, now takes him to the next level.
I wish. Hey, listen. I'd be all for Tua coming up, working with the Simms family, throwing the football.
Sure.
We could teach him how to throw the ball harder. I can promise you that. I mean, that you can say all you want about the Simms family, and me and my brother Matt. We might have not been worth a shit as a quarterback.
Yeah.
We got that,
Yeah.
but we can throw it. Like anybody that ever saw us would go, oh my gosh! Like I didn't realize. Whoa, Chris Mack can really throw it. Holy crap!
Well, you guys are students of the
Right.
game too, honestly. All that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you guys
So
love that stuff.
I would love that, and I do think there's things about Tua's throwing motion that you could teach him some things to cut the ball through the wind or the elements a little bit better.
Wow.
That would be conducive to better power throws. Definitely.
Open invitation to come here, Southwest Connecticut.
Yeah,
with the
lefty
Simms
on lefty,
family.
tutelage here, right?
How much would it cost him to do a training session, like a 1-hour training
Well,
session?
gosh, he's about to get paid here, so
Yeah,
we got to raise the We got to raise the prices a little bit.
I mean, it's only fair. It only makes sense. You can spend the night in the barn at your place or whatever, right? But it will cost him.
Yeah, it will cost them. All right, everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed the pod. We had fun as always. We did it. That was 19 through 15.
Correct.
We got the top 14 next week. We're cracking away. right? And you guys can start to figure out the names that are missing here. I do think this week was my hardest week of rankings, for sure. I mean, the group we did today, of course, was very close. And, of course, the group I did on Tuesday, I think, was my hardest to differentiate out of any group I've done so far. But you know where to find us. Subscribe, rate, and review. Monday, the countdown continues. Everybody enjoy these nice late spring weekends. Ahmed, you the man, as always. Thanks for being such a good buddy.
Of course.
All right, homies. Peace out. Clap it up.
Clap it up.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for watching, homies. You know it's the off-season, but there's no off-season with Chris Simms Unbuttoned. It's the NFL. It goes all year around, all right? So hit subscribe, please, to hear my thoughts on your favorite team, your favorite quarterback, and, hey, how this season might unfold as we get ready for the 2024 season. We got a better picture, clearer look now that the draft is over, free agency. We know who's playing quarterback for certain teams. So, again, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. Check you out soon.